Good morning. I haven't exactly got all my thoughts together on this one yet because I'm still miffed and I've been losing sleep for a couple days regarding this, but here's a story. And it's been keeping me up at night. I guess I didn't know I lived in such an area that just is so non-accepting, depressed, just uneducated for certain things. But all right, here goes. A couple days ago, I was in a store. I was talking to the owner, and another guy pulled up and he kind of like injected himself into the conversation. Sure, okay, whatever. And the another person standing there asked if, there was anything good to eat restaurant wise in the town that I live in. And I kind of started like naming off a few places, and this guy that had just pulled up to, inject himself into the conversation just kind of went off on a tangent about he won't support the town I live in because we support LGBTQ plus. And he just was like literally going off, ranting and raving and going crazy and about the Bible and abominations and this and that. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I tried to hold my tongue because I'm one of those people that accepts anyone for who they are, for their choices and what they choose to do. It doesn't matter. Again, like the I believe it's the non-discrimination creed. It's we don't discriminate against, race, creed, color, gender, and gender choices, things like that. And I'm open and accepting to everyone. It doesn't matter. I support you, or if I didn't, I just wouldn't say something. But oh my goodness. And I think the only thing that came out was, instead of being calm about it, I was like, excuse me, and I and he told me that I've lost my way and that I'm a messed up little girl. Okay. And I tried to tell him that, we have such a thing as evolution. People have evolved. And first of all, I'm nearly 50. I used to work with people of all different races or sexual orientation, whatever. It's okay. If I had to say this to his face, which, I had to hold my tongue because I'm not, I don't want to revert to being the person I used to be and flipping out on people about their views. But if I had to say it to his face, I would say, get used to it, man, because guess what? The population is way more than you think it is, with people of different sexual orientation and of all different races, creeds, color, whatever, religions, everything. It's more than what you think it is. So it's like, get used to it, dude. And I needed to tell you this because I do have a story. It is a long story, but we're going to just hit the highlights of it. Once upon a time, not that long ago, I lost my coffee again. Once upon a time in a relationship, there was a situation that happened where there was a grief group being held at a community center. And it just so happened that the leader of the grief group happened to be a lesbian. Okay. I had gone to that grief group for months, as long as it was going, and it helped me. So should I have been judgmental of the person that was leading the group? No. Should I be judgmental about anybody? No. It's 2025, baby. I don't have those thoughts in my head. And to be honest with you, there's been so many things that have been running through my head since he was trying to say that, you know, it was an abomination and that it's against the Bible and everything. And I thought, well, geez, you know, I went to church too at some point in my life, and judging or passing judgment, that's against the Bible too. But he seemed like the kind of God that was just going to keep talking and not stop no matter what I said. And so that's why I didn't say very much to him. I've lost sleep over it because it didn't sit well with me. It's just, I understand everybody's going to have a different view about everything. Everybody has different religions. Everybody has different orientations. Everybody has an individuality. But guess what? If we were all the same, we would live in a super boring world. We are different for a reason. I can't get that conversation out of my head, and I kind of feel like I don't want to go to that store anymore, because I kind of feel like if he shows up that I'm just going to be like, bye. And it's terrible. This is where I live. It's not even in my own town. It's like a town over. But going back to, you know, the grief group, she was actually educated. I think she actually had not only her gone through, you know, the ministry, but she also had, I believe, a psychology background. So she actually had tools. She actually knew ways to deal with stress and anxiety and grief and other such things. And she was quite intelligible. And whether I knew it or not, in the beginning, I still would have gone. It helped me. It got me through, you know, the worst couple of years of my life. And I guess I can't believe people are still so judgmental, and I don't want to say ignorant, but I mean that in the way that they're not educated of the fact that there's more of them than there are of you. Because you're on a one-track mind and you only have, one little itty-bitty piece of information, but you haven't looked around to see that nearly everyone around you is going to be of a different religion, orientation, whatever. And I keep trying to think of, famous people and whatever. And the first one that popped in, I asked Google, and I said, how long has Elton John's career been? And, what is he worth? Whatever, just for information purposes. And the man's worth like $600 million. And he didn't get that way by not being himself. He's been true to himself. And that's the part that I'm supportive of. Be true to yourself. If I was working with someone who was of a different religion and celebrated holidays on different days than Christmas or whatever, I would cover for that person, but I would be respectful and say, okay, you have your own thing that you have to do, and I obviously don't celebrate that particular holiday, so sure, I'll cover for you. I have to be respectful. But to be honest with you, I feel like it takes way more energy to put out that hate and negativity than it does to just either ignore it or accept it. Honestly, again, 2025, baby. It's obviously been highly controversial for years for a reason, but again, take a look around. There's more of them than there are of you, buddy. I'm accepting of anyone who chooses to be anywhere they want to be, and anyone who chooses whatever religion they want to have, or whatever, anybody's life choices. I'm supportive of that. Just the way that I'm supportive of families when they want to keep their loved ones home and not put them in a nursing home. See previous video on that. It's very difficult as a family member to keep your loved one home, to care for them, or to have an aide care for them. And I salute those people and I support those people. I'm still so flabbergasted with this guy, and yeah, if I did see him, I would tell him, look around. Look around, dude. It's the fact that he just wouldn't come to my town to support businesses by getting a slice of pizza or something because my town supports LGBTQ. Those were his words. And I just was like, what? Who are you? So that's why I wanted to talk about that, because I don't know. And I don't know if he gave the owner of the store an earful, because he had mentioned that I'm messed up because I'm supportive of these people, everybody, because I'm supportive of I don't want to say these people. I'm just supportive of everyone. Or if something, I don't, the things that they say, I think in general that you're not supposed to talk about politics, religion, and money or something like that. But when this guy just kind of had his little outburst, it was like a temper tantrum. And I was like, and he seemed to be a little bit of an older guy. And I just was like, what? And for him to be telling me I'm a little girl and that I'm lost and that I've lost my way and somebody's messed me up because of that. Really? I did try to let it go initially because I was just like, well, he's just hasn't educated himself fully on people. But the fact that he hangs around that store an awful lot, and I like to go to that store too, and you know what I mean, I don't want to come in contact with him because I don't want to like blow up and get all crazy, because that's a hot button issue with me when people just start talking about stuff they don't know about and bad-mouthing people and trying to quote the Bible on that sort of stuff. I mean, like, I don't know, I think I was up at like 2 o'clock this morning because it kept me up, and I tried to go back to sleep, and I think I only made it till a little bit before 6. So what time is it now? It's like 6:39. That's what my iPad says. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, I've lost sleep over it because there were a lot of things I wanted to say, and the old me would really, we would have gone head to head about it. I have more experiences in, job situations and, like I said, the grief group and a lot of other situations to where integrating, you know what I mean, people of different orientations and, different religions and whatever. And you don't know them. Like to this guy, like, have you ever gotten to know anyone? They're still people. They're people. Technically, they're not any different than any of the rest of us. They're people. They're human beings of the billions of people that are on, I think just in the U.S., billions of people. It's okay if you don't share my views. It's okay if you don't support people. If you don't support them, just ignore them. But don't just start going off with your mouth and talking about stuff, because that creates more, you're putting hate out into the world, and it's just, I'm one of those people that at this point in my life, and I think it's because I am coming up a couple months. 50 will be in a couple months, so 49 and almost 50. I think it's because I want to do things that are meaningful for me in life. And those things are helping people with whatever, just help people in general. I'll help you clean. I'll give you a quarter for a shopping cart if you need it. If I have, enough to pay for your coffee order in the drive-thru. I don't go to the drive-thru. But if I did, if I had enough to pay for it, I would, But here's the thing. I think people like him don't do things like that. But if he only knew the car ahead of him maybe had people of different orientation or different race than him, I can only imagine like what kind of little tantrum he would have. Like, oh my gosh, like I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. I think it's more like how about you get to know people first before you start judging them? Don't judge a book by its cover. Like, I just, it's made me dislike the area that I live in even more. Even though the area I live in is consistent of a whole bunch of little tiny towns. At least 5. And then there's a lot of outskirts and rural areas. And, yeah, a lot of the people in these, small towns are into, hunting and gun laws and all that other stuff, and not really very accepting or whatever of people of different races and orientations. But I tell you what, that guy that pulls up to help you when you got your flat tire on the side of the road, he could have been homosexual. You wouldn't know. But you were appreciative that he helped you. And I almost feel like, oh, by the way, you know what I mean? He should have said. Just because I think it's just so simple-minded and just like that one-track mind sort of thing going on. I've lived and worked in so many different aspects of jobs and areas, and once again, you know what I mean? Look around, buddy. There's more of them than there are of you. You know what I mean? It's just, but if you actually stop and get to know people for who they are, their values. My values are, I want to give positivity back into the world, because I feel like right now we don't have a lot of positivity. I want to do good things for people and spread that and say, pass it on, or, maybe do something, for the next person that you come across. You know what I mean? I'm a very creative person. My handle is just a crafty girl. I am just a crafty girl. I like to paint, and I like to create things, and I have a lot of different media that I work with. I paint on slate. I paint like barnwood pieces, canvas, but there's like a whole bunch of other stuff that I do too. I make jewelry. That's the room. So I'm looking in the room. I don't know. I just recently started making those little rice bags that it's like a nice flannel material. You fill them with rice and put them in the microwave. And then if you're sore and achy, you can just kind of let it sit. Oh yeah, that is achy. Let it sit there, and it's that like moist heat. It's so nice, and it's so much better than an electric heating pad. You're saving electricity, number one, and number two, your body heat works with that warm rice, the moist rice inside the bag, and it actually just soothes that very nicely. And I've a couple people that I've just, given them to try out. Yeah, I just woke up. They've all said that they love them, and that they find them very useful. And so I'm just, I do so many different things, and I was supported by my parents with the diversity of things that I like to do. Oh, photography. I love photography with my Canon 70D. I have the most beautiful pictures of mountains and waterfalls and flowers. And, you know, I've done photo shoots for people that really just wanted to save some money, and they still loved, you know, my work. And coffee time. Ooh, that's cold. So again, like a guy like that would be like, oh, just how come you don't pick one thing and work with it? Because I'm talented with like all these other things, and I like to work on projects a lot, you know. Diversity, evolution, like whatever, you know what I mean? It's not, nobody is cookie cutter. Nobody is the same. And again, if we were all the same, it would be a boring world. Nobody's the same. Everybody's different. If you don't like it, just ignore it. But don't go off on a little temper tantrum tangent about it, because you're going to get more backlash with your little temper tantrum than not, I guess. I mean, I thought it was, afterwards, I thought it was funny that this grown man was having a temper tantrum. And like, I say he's older because he has, like, gray hairs. That doesn't mean anything nowadays, but I think he is a little older. At least, I'm not going to say. But again, I just thought it was quite comical that this grown man is going off on a tangent about the LGBTQ and that my town supports it and I won't support your town. And blah, blah, blah. Okay. We don't need you. We're doing pretty good. It's okay. You can go to a different place. But it happens to be that the town that we were in, which is one town over, all of their good eating places got shut down, so. You gotta go somewhere if you want to go out to eat. If you want to get a sliced pizza, you gotta go somewhere. So, I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. The message is that just, please, just don't judge a book by a cover. Like, get to know people first. You know what I mean? And then if you find, you know, I've dealt with too many narcissistic people in my life, and it's just, there's absolutely no way to battle that. Like, I have absolutely tried my hardest to, you know, banter back with, you know, narcissists, and there's no, it's almost like there's nothing you can say and nothing you can do to get them off of their mindset, whatever their mindset is. And I don't mean just, you know, LGBTQ. I just mean whatever their mindset is, whatever they're going off on a tangent, because that's what they do. Narcissists go off on a tangent. There's no coming back from it, and there's no bantering that I've found that has, you know, gotten silence. I used to work at a place that was mostly guys, and most of those guys were in the break room eating cookies a lot. So management asked if I would train on the forklift and some of the other equipment to move appliances or just whatever. Okay, sure, why not? So, you know, and more often than not, after I was trained on the forklift, nobody could find the people that were in that department to drive the forklift to load people's trailers or vehicles or whatever. So they would call me, and they, you know, would be like, "You're trying down the forklift, right?" And I'm like, "Yep." And, you know, I would be the one, you know, driving the forklift and loading, because again, all these guys that are in that department, who knows where they are? They're in the break room eating cookies, outside doing whatever. I don't know. But so I had to take a lot of, because I was one of very few girls in that building that was actually working on the floor, not a cashier. I was not a cashier in that building. I worked on the floor, and I carried heavy stuff, and I drove the equipment. I moved appliances. I worked my butt off. And at first I think that I had to prove myself, because I was getting a lot of, I was getting picked on a lot by these guys. So I had to prove myself. But I was raised as a hardworking person. I was raised with a work ethic, a really great work ethic. I mean, from little kid, you know, I was helping my dad bleed the brakes on the car when I was like 4. And then any other projects he had that he wanted to work on, I was always helping him. And so he did teach us, you know, good work ethic, and I still have that to this day. And so no matter what is going on as far as people needing help, I'll help you. You know, if I can help you, I'll help you. That's just the kind of person I am, like altruistic sort of thing. But it's not like, you know what I mean? I do it because I want credit for it. I do it because that's the value, and that's the kind of person that I am, and what I want to continue being. I want to have meaningfulness in my life. I want to do something that's meaningful. So I want to work on my projects and my creations, and I want to help people. You know what I mean? With, you know, grocery shopping, cleaning their homes, whatever people need help with. I want to help them. I have no I don't have hate in my heart. I generally put out positivity. I mean, I was at the laundromat one day a couple months ago, and I don't know, one of the ladies had walked up to a group of other ladies and said, "Hey, do you have any quarters?" And I was at the end of my time at the laundromat, so I just happened to put a handful of quarters in my pocket, and in case I needed it for the dryer, in case something wasn't dry enough. And so I stopped what I was doing, which was folding or just coming over, and I laid out a handful of quarters on the table, and she just kind of looked at me with this like, like, huh? And she's like, "Why did you do that?" And I was like, "You said you needed quarters, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, there you go." And then she just still had that, you know, shock and awe, deer in the headlights look on her face. And she says, you know, the community that she's in, she's like, "These people don't do these kinds of things." And I'm like, you know, it's terrible that they don't. And I don't know, she wanted my name, and she wanted to know if I was with some sort of organization or anything. And I'm like, no, that's just me. That's how I am. That's what I do. If you need quarters, if you need school supplies, and if I can help you, I'll help you, you know. And when she said that her community doesn't do things like that, again, that was just one of those things that, you know, makes me want to cry daily. But I know it is what it is, because that's just the way the world is. And I'm sure I'm quoting, "It's a cruel world," and there's more of it. But I think that the more positivity that I put out, and the more, and I just said, pay it forward. I told her. She says, do you want them back? And I said, no, just pay it forward. I said, do something, for the next person. I was like, buy somebody a cup of coffee, or, whatever, you know what I mean? Just pay it forward, just keep it going, because I don't have, any desire to, I don't want your quarters back. I want you to go out in the world and know that, there are still nice people in this world, and there are still people that will help you, regardless of your status, situation, whatever. And, again, and it just keeps bringing me back to that guy. If he needed help with something, you know what I mean? How would he know the orientation of somebody that's going to come and do his roof or whatever, you know what I mean? And is he going to like flip a lid like on that person? Are they going to get a lecture or something and say that, oh, you're so lost, somebody messed you up? All right. Anyway, I've been rambling. My coffee is getting cold. I have to refill my coffee, but I just needed to get that out there, that it had been bothering me. And it's not the only thing, and it's not the first time that I've lost sleep over something, because, yeah, I know people are the way they are, but just having been, part of the conversation firsthand, just kind of threw me back a little bit, and I was like, what? Okay. Pay it forward. Do something nice for someone today. Pay for somebody's coffee in the drive-thru. Give somebody a quarter for a shopping cart. Spread the love. Spread the niceness. Spread the altruism. Don't be a hater. It takes way more effort, and it probably wears people out, spreading hate and like, because he just was talking, and I'm like, boy, he must have been tired when he was done with that conversation. Because it's easier to just pull a quarter out of your pocket and just hand it to someone, and instead of going off on a tangent about things that you don't agree with or whatever. It's like, either, like I said, accept it or ignore it, but don't go off on a tangent about it, especially if you're in a public place, in a store. Like, anyway, I'm going to go do my nice thing today. I'm going to go help with, I'm going to help an older lady with some grocery shopping and some cleaning around the house. She's gotten to the point where she's actually losing her vision very slowly, and the poor thing has to have injections in her eyes every couple months in order to kind of like, preserve what's left. So a little bit later, I'm gonna go help her with that today. And those are the kinds of things that make me feel good as a person at the end of the day. I would rather do that than just work a 9-to-5 meaningless job. I would rather be out there helping people as either, the home health aide portion or the personal care assistant portion. Either way, I prefer to go out there and help people and do something nice for somebody without any, you know what I mean? You don't need to, give me anything, and you don't need to do anything nice for me. I just want to put that out there into the world and hope that, that person or somebody would notice, and spread that around, spread peace, spread love, like, you know what I mean? Again, it's 2025, baby. All right. Love you guys. Have a good day. Thanks for listening.